In this video, we're going to write a Haskell program that takes a string containing words separated by new lines as a parameter. All the words must be of same length so that they can form a matrix. The return value of the program is going to be transpose of this matrix. I will now show what the program is supposed to do. So here you run the script giving this particular string as a parameter, and once you run it, it simply returns the transpose from this matrix created from these words. Doing this exercise in multiple steps can be useful, so we will be using these 3 steps to find the first solution. Then we will also check a different pure solution, adding the optional step. We will now check one possible solution for this exercise. So the step 1 is to create a function that removes the first character of all list items of a list. This can be done pretty straightforward by using list comprehension. So this is how you can do that. Takes list of lists as a parameter and returns a list of lists. That should do the job. Now the next step is going to be the one that actually does most of what we wanna do here. For this we will also use list comprehension. However, we will be doing that recursively. We will also use a gate. So we are going to need a type that can be compared. So we will once again have a list of lists, and it will also return a list of lists. So in this first gate, we will check that the length of the list that we are going to be handling is 1 or greater than 1. Otherwise, we would be getting a bad result. So now we have done this process for the first list. So what we would be getting here is this first one. How do we get the next one? We will simply append to this list. I'm gonna continue to the second row. You could just fine continue to the same one, but here now we will use this same function for lists that have been removed from the first parameter. So this is where we use that step 1. And here we have a typo. Now at some point, only thing we have left is an empty list, and then we will return the list that we want. So this here should do the job. Now before doing the optional step, let's check how we can quickly get some kind of final solution from this. So this will be our main function. I'm gonna call it transposer, and it's gonna take string and return a string. And here we are also going to use gates. Actually no, we're not going to use gates for this first solution. We will just use this do structure. We will create a temporary array which contains the new line characters, because our transposed list doesn't add the new line character. And for this we can once again use list comprehension. And our transposed list, it's not perfect. It will also return, it will also add some empty lists at the end of the main list, so we will exclude those empty lists. Now from this we can just use concatenate prelude function to get the actual transpose. And finally we just have to print it. And here, of course, our transposed lists function needs the array pulled from that string. We will use prelude lines function for that. And then we will, of course, need that actual transposed lists. I'm getting confused. So we will get the transpose list by using our transposed lists function. And of course, this one is not going to return string yet. It will create return IO object. Now finally got rid of all the errors. This should do the trick. Let's see if it works. Yes, it seems to be working. And now let's transform this solution using that optional step and make it a pure function. So now let's first concentrate on this optional step. How can we accomplish this? So let's call it a check string function, and it has to take a string as a parameter, and it has to return true or false. It actually took some time for me to find a solution how to do this. I'm sure there are plenty of more simple solution, but how I did this, I'm just first gonna write it out and then explain it. So here it is. What we're doing here is that we will first use list comprehension to create the original array, and for every instance of this array we will check if the length of the word is the same as the length of the first word in the list. So if everything is the same length, we should get the original list from the string, and then we just compare it to the list we are supposed to get from that string, and if they both equal, then we know all the words are the same length. So maybe you have a better solution for this. If you do, then by all means let me know down in the comments. And now let's do the final solution having a pure function. So now it takes a string as a parameter and also returns a string. No more do. And we will be using gates. Okay, now first let's the reason why we are using these gates is that now we want to actually use that optional check that we just created. And now let's get rid of this old solution. As you can see from here that we're using many of the same assets. It should work, but we still have an error. Maybe it has something to do with spacing. No, no, it actually doesn't. I forgot to remove this equal sign. That should do the trick. Now let's load it again and check if it works. And also works just fine. That's pretty much it. I hope you found this video useful and see you in the next one.